Hello, everyone. We are super late. I'm a late person, but today I win the Oscar on being late. How you doing, everyone? You see a different background. Things happen. We know that the flights has been delayed, and guess what? I got trapped too. So late but sure. We're gonna talk about something that I love personally. That is weird things related to behavior. I'm sure most of the things that we're going to see today, you never have seen them before. And I don't know what they think is driving me crazy. So here we go. Trying to get this is not my computer. This is not my thing. So I'm trying to get here. So, uh, things weird about behavior. Do you know that as human beings, we tend to do things every day? And most of the time, we don't understand why we do it or what is the meaning of why we do what we do. So let's talk about behavior. Let's talk about things that we do that are funny, weird. You say it. Here we go. Now we have the complete one. I think I'm too big for my own good. I don't like it. Let's rearrange this in another way, then I feel more comfortable. You don't see me so much, and I don't see myself that much. Okay, let's get the show started. Weird things about human behavior, they probably you never thought about it. The anger reward. How many times we talk about that the person is a bully, the person is angry all the time, why this person is looking for conflict all the time? Guess what? That is something called the dopamine rewarding. And people who have elevated levels of testosterone have more gratification when the conflict happens. It's funny, or not that funny, because I ended up not working with that company anymore due to this person. It was somebody that when we did the discovery call to talk and work on the team, I was asking, like, everybody can please introduce themselves. And this person was really particular. He says, I love problems, and if it's not, I found them or I make them. Obviously, when you hear something like that, you don't say anything. You shut up and let the person keep talking and keep putting the food in their mouth. Why? This person have high level of testosterone. So every time there is a conflict, every time there is a problem, this person feel they have a meaning what is doing. Some people enjoy others getting angry. And you will think like, why? They're like people off. They get rewarded, they get dopamine, they like it, they feel useful. There's the fixer. When it's a crisis, they like to jump on the crisis, give opinion on the crisis. This is people with high level of testosterone. High level of testosterone, anger feel like a reward when they piss you off. I don't know, you go to the supermarket and somebody want to cut in the line, not because they need to cut in the line, it's because they want to see reacting. Dominant circuit activate no empathy. This is people that is not empath. Now, let's make an identification between a lack of empath and a psychopath or gaslighting. Because today, everybody is using terminology that just because they Google it. Do you know what was the word that was more used during 2021? It grew 17. So it went from 10% of the research and grow 1,700 times on the Google gaslighting. Suddenly a word come up to as fashionable and everybody's gaslighting you. Everybody's a psychopath. Everybody's a narcissist. You need to be careful. A person with high levels of testosterone is none of those. It's hormonal. They feel satisfaction for piss you off. So how you make these people piss off themselves? Do not give them the satisfaction to get mad. Do you know how to piss with a bully? Do you know how to conquer a bully? Don't reply. Do not engage. Whatever they say, okay. No, but okay, it's your opinion. Move on. That is the best way to deal with a bully. Hard chairs, hard mind. And when we talked this morning with the team about that, I'm like, well, Susan, how this work? Let's talk about the 3 points they get here. And let me tell you stories that are related. And as soon as I tell you one of the examples, you're going to say, like, Duh, that happened to me all the time. Physical discomfort equal mental rigidity. Hard chairs, less flexible, more stubborn. Embodied cognition in action. Let's put it in lame terms. And now it's when I need to come back with no makeup. The background is a mess, but it's the lovely background, and I can find where I am stuck with my trip. So what happened? Have you ever go to a restaurant to have fast food, and as soon as you sit, you feel that you eating the food faster because you don't want to be sitting there? One of the reasons, I don't want to name any fast food chain because I don't want to get in trouble, and I work with some of them doing some research, so I don't want to get my clients pissed off. But you go to a food chain to get a burger and fries and a Coke or whatever it's they offering, and suddenly you go and sit and you start all the time complaining about how hard is the place. And if you pay attention to the music they're using, it's up beep that make you eat faster and leave the place faster. Where they make the money, they don't make the money for you sitting on the chair. They make the money for you eating the food as fast as they can make you to eat the food. Now, how this work in negotiation? When you want to negotiate with someone, and I'm going to make a caveat, during the pandemic and the beginning of the pandemic, a lot of companies reached to us because we openly have been saying that all our team is remotely forever. Do trainings online, we do meetings online. We are not on the same room. We are in the same room 2 times a year, but most of the time we are not. So they hire us to tell us what we can do to make our team working better online, working better remote. One of the first things that we says is sending a camera, sending a mic, sending a computer stand, and send a good chair. And I recall the first time that I says that, the guy started crying on laugh or laugh crying, whatever you want to say. It says, wow, you have a business who's selling chairs? Like, no. There are 3 things on the body that predispose or make you predisposed to have a good day or bad day. The humans don't pay attention. And bear with me, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be a smart ass. Are your feet, your ass, and your neck. And let me tell you why. And that you can understand why a good chair. So for example, I'm having a good chair that didn't have enough support. So I have one of my fluffy pillows, and the place that I am is my second house. And I have comfortable, so I can talk to you. Feet. If you're wearing the wrong shoes, your feet hurt, and the balance of your body is not working correctly. Now, if you have hemorrhoids or you're sitting in a wrong position, your back is going to get curved, your shoulders are going to be restrained, and you're going to have tension on the neck. And let's go to the third part, that is your neck. What happened with the neck? If you have tension on the neck, we have nerves coming from the upper back, the upper part of the back that go all the way and do like this. So if I have tension on the neck, I'm going to have a headache and I'm going to have less patience. So if I'm sitting properly in a right chair, everything in my body is going to be aligned. Sometimes I do a trick, then I grab a towel or a pillow and I roll it on the lower back of my back so I can sit straight, so my back doesn't hurt. So if you want to do a good negotiation, if you want somebody propense to talk with you, give them a good check. Now, in interrogation, when you want to piss off someone, or in a negotiation, when you want to piss off someone, you give them a wrong chair. But if somebody's giving you a good chair, that means they're willing and they want to have a conversation. They're willing to negotiate. In mediation cases, in law, when you know that you have a difficult person to negotiate, I propose to give them a bad chair. Why? Because it's going to be so paying attention to how uncomfortable they feel, they're not going to give you such a hard time. But remember, hard chair, hard thoughts, hard person to negotiate. So if you're sitting in a place and suddenly your mood change, It's nothing to do with anything else that maybe you need to put a pillow in your ass. Addicted to information. And we only pick 5 today because we can go with this for a week completely, only talking about irrational things that we do or weird behaviors that we have. Dopamine fires up anticipation, no reward. When we scroll on the media, and I need to say that I do that every morning. I do it for research, and I'm not justifying that I'm doing for research. I seriously doing for research because I want to know what people is doing, what people is saying, what are the tendencies. I always says I have 5 companies. You see only one thing in here, but the other 4 companies has to do with media market, data brokers, information, process information, influences information. We have a company, we own a company that have products in Walmart, Target, Amazon. We sell things related to human behavior, to the brain. We have many companies. My market research is my cell phone. That's what I do. I scroll on my cell phone. So, but I do know people who do that because they're addicted to information and anticipation and gamification. Gamification is the excitement to know what is going to happen when you do a puzzle, when you play video games with friends. That is the dopamine happening in your brain. Now, dopamine are dopamine triggers happen when you watch porno or you watch your cell phone and you're addicted to the media. That happened on the same part of your brain. So when you see people doing it, more you do it, more you need it, because it's not what you're reading, it's not what you're watching, it's the anticipation, what can come after. That's the reason the media use algorithm. I'm going to give an example because I'm on that business. I do that to clients. And if you're looking for yellow shoes and suddenly you see yellow shoes for a week in your media feed, guess who's responsible for that? Our human behavior company. We do that for companies. But on the other hand, I tell you how it's happened. Sometimes when client says, well, I don't understand how your system works. Like, well, Google pink apples. And it says, yep, Google pink apples. And for a week, you're going to receive in your media, in your feed, everything that has to be related with apples and pink, because it's the anticipation. Oh, what is going to be the next pink apple? What is going to happen? So that's how your brain works, because we work with the dopamine infusion in your brain. That's how media work. Notifications equal gambling to the brain. Maybe there is something compulsive checking. Maybe what if I'm missing what is the new trend? What if I'm missing the influencer I'm following? What if I'm missing what people is doing? We always on the FOMO, fear of missing out. And during the pandemic was worse because a lot of people, in my case, when I found out the pandemic, I celebrate for 6 months nonstop. But most of the people, normal people, didn't have any connection with the external world. Remember the first 6 months, like, no way. You didn't go to the supermarket, you pick up your food. You have delivered for food, you have delivered for meds, you went to the bank. Everything was through a window. So you never had a relationship with another human. So the only way we had to connect with humanity was this. And because of the dopamine in your brain, you become addicted to information. Now, that information is good to be addicted to. That is another discussion for another day. Another weird things that we do as humans. The 50% mind wandering brain. Brain wanders 30 to 50% a day. And I'm going to explain in lame terms what is wandering. Your brain switch modes automatically. Creativity on, focus off. I did an article in our blog talking about that, the misconception about that humans, we are good multitasking. We are not. The people who multitask or they think they do more a day, they tend to work 3 hours extra. So the myth that the women are better multitasking, no. Women are better incorporating more hours of their routine, but doesn't mean they're doing it right or doing it good. Neither. So what happened is And we talk about the system 1 and system 2. And I talk a lot about that because we need to understand how irrational we are and how we have things set. And in this case, make all the sense in the world. If you need to start thinking what you do since you open your eyes until you have the first coffee, try to take a note. Do it in your cell phone. I usually make people to take notes. Since you open your eyes, put in a book, in a black book. I open my eyes. I move the sheets. I move the covers. I I sit on the bed. I put my flip-flops. I put my robe. All those things are things that we do automatically. If we need to use the system too, there's Albert Einstein, every time that we do something that is automatically, by the time you sit in your emails, by the time you sit in the computer, by the time you need to have the first meeting, your brain is out, disconnect. Now, what happened with wandering, that is one of my concern, when we do things automatically, like driving. Because with driving, sometimes we don't pay attention to other things because we are set on the activity we're doing. We don't let any possibility to be creating or letting our brain exercise. A lot of people listen to podcasts when they're driving, and actually I found out that people says, oh yeah, I don't watch the live because when I'm coming back home driving, or I'm taking my bus or my subway, whatever the tube line, whatever you take, what happened is, oh, your show is 35 minutes, 45 minutes max. That is the time I need to go from my job to my house or my house to my job. That is automatization. That is how your brain is wandering. That is how your brain is going to a specific place. But if you try to drive and listen to the podcast and come up with a creative idea, it's not going to work. So a lot of people says that they love to have a walk-in creative session that is completely different. That is your walk-in partner. Actually, we do a lot of team meetings when we walking and we talking because the exercise allow us to oxygenate the brain and oxygenate the body. But if you're wondering, if you're driving and try to listen and pay attention to something, one of those things are not going to have all your attention. How many times you hear text and drive can kill you? Why? Because if you're paying attention to the text, you're not paying attention to the driving. If you're paying attention to the driving, you're not paying attention to the conversation or the text. So, piece of advice, one thing is walking conversations, and another one is sessions where you need to be completely aware. If you do those walking sessions like I do on the beach or on the forest, it's easy because I don't need to be so aware of my brain wandering and not to be aware of the ecosystem around me. If I do that on the city, what is going to happen is maybe I'm not going to be paying attention that a car is about to hit me or the light turned from red to green or green to red. We're going to have a show. We are meeting with a person that is going to be one of the best guests I have in a long time. Not offense to all the other guests, but really I have a introduction to this person. And we're going to be talking about how the way you act, your body language, and how you walk on the street can make you a prey, can make you a victim. Why? Because if I'm on the cell phone arguing with you and paying attention to the conversation, I'm not paying attention to anything else. One of the things that I always tell people, never have an argument with somebody else's driving, neither when you're driving. I worked a long time ago in a campaign from a political woman in Latin America that she ended up being elected on a position. She was in a wheelchair. So when I interviewed her, I asked her how she ended up in a wheelchair and says, I did the most stupid thing you ever can do. My ex-husband was driving the car. We start arguing and when we were arguing, he didn't saw a cow crossing the road. What happened? The car fell on the cliff. She broke her back and she ended up in a wheelchair. Why? Because your mind cannot be wandering when you're angry. You have laser focus and you're not paying attention to your context of what happened around. So wandering is not that good. How many times you hear brain fart is real? I have a brain fart. I'm going to give an example that it simplify what is a brain fart. And I was the impression it was my menopause, but actually it's not. It's one of the things that I started researching when like, oh my God, I'm losing my marbles. I'm losing my McDonald's. My fryers are too busy and too crazy, too tired. No, it's a brain fart. How many times you have gone to a room and suddenly you get to the room like cricket? You don't remember where you went to the room to do. Like, what I'm supposed to be doing. One of the things that I got initially, this was supposed to be my computer. No, I was supposed to get this as a computer. I found out that actually it's a big cell phone. It's my big cell phone. So it's like what I have in my cell phone, I have it here. One of the things that I loved and I found out is I understood why this thing is coming. I can take notes. It's my notepad. So I have two options in one. I can take notes in my iPad. And on top of that, I can send the screen to a program, and that program convert all my notes in a Word document. So every morning when I, with my cell phone in one, playing with my cats, waiting for my partner to bring the coffee, whatever I'm doing, I take notes about things that I want to remember. Because guess what? We are overestimating and over complicit in how much we can remember. And the truth to be told, no matter how young you are, no matter how intelligent you are, there are going to be things that are going to split your mind. Why? Because it's impossible to remember absolutely everything. Routine kills working memory. Your brain forgets simple poor purpose, mild task. Sleep and stress make them worse. Today, I sleep, I think if I sleep 4 hours, it's a lot. Intense long weekend, Thanksgiving, the truth to be told, Thanksgiving is the highest month for us working. And in the meantime, I was trying to have family time, friends time, but I was with my iPad and my computer and my phone all the time. So what happened with that? I realized that today, Monday, when everybody's rest, everybody have a wonderful weekend, I'm more tired than I was on Wednesday. I was late to the show. I made a mistake in my first meeting today. I forgot to do the makeup. I only put lipstick and I jump on it. My brain was in a complete fart mood. Why? Because I'm stressed. I'm tired. I eat a chicken leg standing on the kitchen at the same time that I was reviewing emails this morning. What? Yeah, that was my breakfast. Coffee and a chicken leg. Actually, it was a turkey leg. That's what I have for breakfast this morning. Because I have a brain fart and says, okay, what I need to do, like I get overwhelmed. Overwhelming is a way to tell your brain you need to prioritize the things that are urgent. An urgency and an emergency are two different things. Emergency is 911. Urgency is I'm hungry, I need to eat. Now, what I'm going to eat is another different option. When I start working with a new company, the first thing that I teach them when we want to work is certain rules. One of them is we have 911 and we have 411, call me later. 911 is an emergency. Are you rushing to the emergency room with a limb in your hand? 411 is an urgency. I need to resolve this today, and please put priority on top of other things. Call you later is when I finish my day, I'm going to review what you asked for and reply to that. In my team, with my clients and at the company clients and my partners, that's what I do. I explain what are those 3 points. Why? I have only one brain. I'm an older lady. People tend to underestimate how much memory you can have. Remember, routine kills working memory. When I do something every day, like remember when we talk about when you wake up in the morning, if I ask you what you have done since you open your eyes until you have your first coffee or you sit in front of your computer and review the first email, what is going to happen is like, I don't remember. Why? Because you do that automatically. Do you remember what is the hand you used to brush your teeth in the morning? Do you remember what hand you used hold the toothbrush and put the toothpaste. Why am picking so difficult words? So brushing your teeth, toothbrush, toothpaste. You know how you do it? Actually, I need to. I'm lefty. The only thing I don't do with my left hand is writing, and sometimes I write with the left hand. But my point is, I do it so automatically. So I don't memorize the things that I do routinely. So you need to understand, if you have a fart brain moment, hello, I'm back. Okay, you see, things happen when you're too busy making plans. So what this says is, pay attention to the dull moments. It's not that you are an adult moment. It's called brain fart, and it happened when you're stressed, when you're in a bad mood, when you haven't slept. Actually, do you know how many days it take you to get on timing when you don't sleep? For one night you didn't sleep, it's going to take 5 nights to kind of accommodate and recover that. I don't know how women, they're breastfeeding and they're not allowed to sleep at night. I don't know how they do it. We have an office, and I have a house in London, another one in Chicago, and another beach house outside Chicago. It's an hour different between Chicago and the beach house, and sometimes that mess with my routine. When the time change, the time change like for 1 hour. It's only one city in the United States that doesn't change the time. It's Indianapolis in Indiana. All the other cities change the time. That week, I'm a mess. The week in March and the week in November. And you know what? The day with more accidents, more brain farts, is the day after they change the time. If I can manage a way to not to do it, I will be the first one to vote for anybody who says we're not going to change the time. And what does this matter to you? Your brain follows unconscious patterns. Realizing them help you to stop taking others or your own actions personally. Small things affect large reaction. Without your awareness, a notification or habit alter your emotions and decisions and discussions. Again, the fact that you're on the wrong chair can mess with all the meeting. Imagine this on the first date in a job interview. You have a job interview and suddenly the chair is not comfortable. And you says, why they didn't offer me the job? What they think I'm an aggressive person. You're not. The chair was the problem. So you know what? When I go to a place and the chair is not comfortable, it says, excuse me, may I grab that chair? It's more comfortable. Why? Well, the chair is going to change all the setting on this conversation. Or when somebody comes to any of our offices, all the things that I always make sure is that have a cushion that is comfortable. I test all the chairs in our offices to make sure even when the people is on the waiting room is comfortable. If you have a meeting and the person is waiting for you on the meeting room, on the waiting room, it's better to have them standing than in the wrong chair. Know the patterns, manage the result. Awareness help with focus, communication, and regulation at home too. So remember, you have a brain fart, the chair, we are addicted to information. Tomorrow, face profiling made simple. 3 things you can read in 3 seconds. And it's true. I'm really well known for being a face reading profiling. profiler, you can see the lives and all the damage that I have done. Like for somebody who, that is not so much face reading profiling, is profiling 101. When somebody, I ask one question, the person talked for 40 seconds, and I can give 6 minute evolution, then how that person think. That is one of the best gifts you can give to a sales rep, how to profile anybody in 90 seconds or less. And tomorrow we're going to talk about 3 things that you need to be paying attention. From all the things you can learn on the face, those 3 things are going to make you a lot of money. So you want to contact us, you know what? Oh my God, even though I on the rush today, I exceed the 30 minutes. You want to contact us, please connect with me in LinkedIn. I cannot wait to see what is your comment. I don't know what people made more comments about what the shows, what they think about the shows, and our private comment is not right or wrong answer. Just give us your comment. Let's see if we have any questions today. I'm alone. What to know more? Says, I thank you, love. I didn't know you were there. You're the best. Hope you are well. Great event, title and discussion. It says LinkedIn user. I'm sorry, love. I cannot see who you are. Elba, thank you very much. Tomorrow, again, we're going to be talking about face reading and things that you can learn about yourself in your face, because the first face you need to be reading is yours. And remember, as humans, we do and have weird behaviors. As human, we do and have things that maybe doesn't make sense, but it's always a behavioral reason. So with coworkers, at home, with the loved ones, pay attention. Pay attention to you, because we have 2 ways that people interact with us: action and reaction. If someone suddenly is aggressive with you, check the content and context. It can be that the chair is uncomfortable, the temperature change on the environment, on the place that you are, or the situational, they don't feel safe, they feel threatened. So that's how a behavior can change. And don't underestimate the behavior and the things that you do every day, how affect you. Sometimes it's good to keep a diary. I don't believe in manifestation. I don't believe in dream boards, and I don't believe in journaling. But one thing that I do believe is that when you write things that you do, or the moment things piss you off, not only write about the feelings or emotions, write about where you were sitting, what was the temperature, what you were eating. I know a lot of clients, they're moved to a keto diet because the sugar and the glucose make them dumb, stupid after lunch. I didn't realize that because your gut, that is your first brain or second brain, whatever you want to say it, is toxic with food. Your McDonald's is not working. My name is Susan Ivitz. I'm a behavioral neuroscience and strategy. I'm a human behavior hacker. Some people hack computers. I hack humans, and I have fun doing it. Connect with us, and I will see you tomorrow, 12:15 Central Standard Time. Probably late, like most days. That life happens when you're too busy making plans. Bye, guys. Elba, thank you, like always, love, for being there.